Hello everybody, I'm Gary the Motham, and a while ago I came across this video by Littleyogaman on YouTube, in which he turned object Pokemon into regular Pokemon, and vice versa. And I really love this video idea. At the end of it, he challenged his audience to do the same thing. So I'm about to show you all how it's done. Today, I am turning regular Pokemon into Objectmon, and Objectmon into regular Pokemon.
P.S. Go check out Littleyogaman's video. It's very good. Link in the description.
Let's first start with Electrode. And this one is purely out of spite. Like the most spite-filled Pokemon I ever spited. Electrode is one of my least favorite designs in Pokemon. I don't hate it. I don't even dislike it much. There's Pokemon I actually dislike more than Electrode, but in my opinion it is objectively,
see what I did there?
the worst design in the series. The idea of a classic RPG mimicking a Pokeball is genius and inventive. So I can excuse Voltorb, even if its execution is very bland. But Electrode changes nothing about this design or its concept. It just turns around. The silhouette isn't even different. It's just a circle and a ball. These guys are balls! Balls! So I'm very happy to change this design and turn this guy into one of the best animals out there. Crab. Crabs are awesome and the pinnacle of life. Did you know that everything will end up evolving into crabs? It's called crustification. Wait, no, that's not the term. Carcinization, yes. Many sea-dwelling arthropods have independently evolved into crabs, trying to mimic their perfection. These are false crabs.
Just like your false gods.
I used the simple shape of the Pokeball to hint at things like claws, and a mouth, and even a body, or just anything that can be considered a design aspect. God dang it! This one is a personal battle for me, okay? I need to prove that I'm a better designer than the official artists at Game Freak, who made Garchomp, Pikachu, and Furret. If my best is better than their worst, maybe I am worthy of the title of artist. Electrab. From Electrode, but sounding like crab and trap.
Electrab, the Pokeball Pokemon, an electric type. It hides itself by rolling up and contracting to the size of a tennis ball. It remarkably resembles a Pokeball when it does this. Those who try to pick it up mistaking it for a Pokeball will get a shocking surprise. Its claws are electrically charged and deal nerve-wracking damage. It has the abilities Soundproof, Static, and Hidden ability Aftermath.
It would still be extremely speedy because it still has the ability to roll up its entire body and roll around with the speed of sound. Electrab is such an improvement over that faux Electrode. Like, objectively. A look into your heart, you know that I'm right. Stop admiring your false gods and see the truth.
Crab.
I wanted to challenge myself a little. I was going to try and turn the most just an animal Pokemon into something that's absolutely an object. And I came up with a great idea. Turn Pidgey into an origami bird. That seemed like a fun challenge. Paper and origami is very hard to draw, so the challenge would be to make sure it looks like an actually folded piece of paper. I kept the very rudimentary shapes of Pidgey the same, but simplified them down to their most basic essence, like a cubic painter. I used plenty of references of folded birds for the design, trying to get the shapes right. For different segments of the body, like the beak or the tuft of feathers on its chest, I used overlapping sheets of paper to get this effect going. Despite being made of paper, I didn't want it to feel flat and two-dimensional. That way it would overlap too much with the other origami Pokemon, Kartana. I wanted it to have depth to the design. as if it was more of an art project than just a sheet of paper. I originally planned it to be pure whites, like actual paper, but I decided I could use different colors of paper overlapping to get the correct patterns going. I'm treating these Pokemon more like convergent Pokemon than Littleyogaman did, while he made full new Pokemon at times. Like, really, Sizzlypen was amazing. I'm trying to keep these guys more similar to their original forms. It's to prove a point, okay? Object Pokemon are also good designs, as long as you use the object in clever ways. Something as boring as, like, I don't know, a ball, that's a bad design. Electrode is a bad design. But you can also use objects in a cool, inventive way, like Chandelure. It was very fun trying to draw all the folds and creases of this Pokemon. I had to really rack my brain on how these shapes would be folded together. Pidigami, from Pidgey and Origami.
Pidigami, the tiny folds Pokemon. A normal flying type. By folding its body into different shapes, it can mimic other Pokemon. People have tried to replicate its craft for decades. Pidigami inspired a type of art form of the same name. People from Johto use these Pokemon as references and inspiration for their own Pidigami arts. It has the abilities Paper Body and hidden ability Big Pecs. The ability Paper Body gives it an added resistance to rock types. However, it also adds a weakness to steel types.
I really like Pidigami. It would fit right into a new Japanese region if Game Freak is supplying that for Gen 10. If I had more time and more gamer skills, I'd have tried to make an Origami Pidgey that I could have somehow used as reference. Because I am confident that this design is possible to replicate. At least somehow, right? If any of you are good at origami, then can you please try and make this? That would be so cool. Thank you. Oh, and quick intermission. If you're enjoying this video, then like and maybe subscribe if you haven't. Or I will also turn you into an object. A marketable plushie. The next object-based Pokemon is a bit of a weird one. Palosant. Now, obviously this is an object Pokemon. It is literally a sandcastle. But I'm not going to be changing a lot about this design. I mean, how can you convey this guy being a castle without it looking like a castle? Well... ants. I'm making a convergent Pokemon of Palosant based on the colonial structure of ants. This way it can keep its cool iconic shape and still make sense as a non-object Pokemon. Because this guy is literally a bunch of ants together. It's genius! This kind of Pokemon has been floating around in my head for a while now. Some wall or castle Pokemon I made up from ants. So Palosant replaces all the grains of sand with ants. I replaced the seashell she-cells on the seashore with little round dots that have antennae sprouting from them, to allude to the invisible little Pokemon that it's made of. Its eyes are 4 yellow ants. I imagine these to be the 4 queens working together to control this massive Poke construction. Color-wise, I made it red, the most common ant color, but its shiny will be very similar to Palosant's, also turning black. You know, the second most common color for ants. This is Palosant, from Palosant and, ants.
Palosant, the colony Pokemon. A bug and ground type. The queens of the hive control their colony with a sweet-smelling scent. Palosant is easily lured by the sweet scent of apples and pies. A single Palosant unit is small and weak, but together they can defeat the most powerful foes. They reinforce their compound with hardy clay. It has the ability Colonial Might and the hidden ability Sweet Veil.
The ability Colonial Might heals Palosant by 1/8 of its total health when its defense stat is raised. But it also loses 1/8 of its total health when its defense stat is dropped. As you may have noticed, Palosant stays a ground type. This would actually make it the first and only fully evolved bug ground type Pokemon, after Ninkada and Reller both failed to do it. Also, you don't have to worry, Palosant still shoots bones. Then finally there's Wailord. I love all the memes about Wailord being less dense than air, and thus it should be able to fly. And so I took that idea and turned this chubster into a blimp. This is also an idea I've had before, and I drew this design for an old region of mine, so I'm repurposing this idea in order to improve it. I took the basic shape of Wailord and blimpified it. Then I gave it this weird mustachy flame pattern on the front of it as a reference to a couple of things. First off, the many patterns you'll see on blimps, balloons and planes. And also, well, the Hindenburg disaster. A disaster almost 100 years ago, when the titular Hindenburg blimp would catch on fire and crash down. This guy is also getting the move Flame Crash, a new move I designed for another Pokemon. And I think you can see my reasoning, I bet. Flaimlord will flip Wailord's typing on its head, becoming a fire flying type. I floated around the idea of turning it into a fire dragon type just to mess with Charizard fans. But that was a bit too cruel, and more importantly, I had no solid reason for that, sadly. The face you can see on the front of the blimp is not its actual face, it's merely an intimidating pattern to scare off bird Pokemon. The actual body is the casket below it, which instead of resembling a Wailord, would take some design aspects from Sharpedo. This way it's kind of a convergent form of both Wailord and Sharpedo, owns two iconic water Pokemon. This is Flaimlord, from Wailord and Flame.
Flaimlord, the blimp Pokemon, a fire flying type. Flamelords majestically fly through the sky. They group up in beautiful pods that blot out the sun. When one becomes too old, it crashes in fiery flames. When a Flamelord crashes down from the sky, it's called a blimp fall. Their carcass will provide nutrients for the Pokemon on the surface for years to come. It has the abilities Oblivious, Flame Body, and the hidden ability Pressure.
And that's the final Pokemon of today's video. Let me know if you think it's an improvement over the original design. And also, let me know if any of these other Pokemon were better than the original non-object Pokemon, or vice versa. I'm truly curious. I apologize for today's video being a bit on the short side. I've got a very busy 2 weeks coming up and not a lot of time to work on videos. Honestly, it's a miracle if I even get to finish this one on time. This was a fun video to make, and really a spur-of-the-moment decision. I highly advise you all to check out Littleyogaman's video, where he does the same thing, but probably better, let's be honest. And I also challenge all of you to try out this challenge as well. Send me or Littleyogaman your art of swapped Pokemon, like this one, with the title of Dawn of the Objectmon. Oh, and also tell him I said hi and wish him another wonderful day. I've been Gary the Muffin. Gotta catch me later.